This is PCSimulators.org and welcome to the channel. Today is a review about one of the most famous and iconic jets of all time. You're looking at it and you must recognise, yes, the 747. In particular, the model we're looking at is the Ifly version of the 747-400. Now, when I was younger growing up, I used to have lots of toys, and one of the most popular toys was a jumbo jet. It was actually first produced in its first flight was in February the 9th, 1969, and it was introduced in 1970 with Pan American World Airways. It costs actually around $24 million in 1972 and $83 million in 82. And the program actually cost Boeing about $1 billion. That's about $7 billion today. So, as we have a look at the aircraft from the Ifly team at 747-400, is the livery that we've chosen to look at today. And as you can see, instantly recognizable. So straight away you can see that the model that they've created here looks more or less identical to the real version. So we're going to have a look and we're going to zoom in. So if I change my view a second and go to spot, so let's press pause, and this is the view a bit closer in. Let's zoom in as close as we can, like we normally do, and you can see that the textures are holding up. You maybe have a little bit of squareness here, but it's quite a close resolution, as you can see. So it zoomed in quite a lot, and saying that, it does hold up pretty well, even at a high magnification of zoom. So the next thing we'll look at is the undercarriage and the wheels. So you can see the wheels are nicely modelled. Move around, and yeah, you can see some different sort of tones of colour here on the tyre and the treads. And also here you can see where the panels have been put together. That's good. Zoom out a little bit, and let's have a look at the wing. So the wing, let's see if we get the flaps. I don't seem to get my flaps working on my joystick for some reason. I'll have to look at that in a second. Okay, let's zoom to the front and have a look at the engine spinning. Wow, look at that. Listen to that noise. We're going to be powering those engines up in a few seconds and take off, and hear them scream as we pelt down the runway to reach speed that we can lift off with this huge aircraft. Look at all those wheels you've got. How many sets of wheels we can see there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets of wheels. It is a beast. What an excellent view. Okay, you can see the reflection as well on the window, and it holds up pretty well. I mean, it's very smooth. The outline of the 3D model is smooth. Looks awesome, absolutely awesome. Brilliant job there, Ifly guys. We're going to have a look now at interior as well. So we'll just have a look at the tail, and then we'll move on to the interior. So you hear the engine sound as well as you move away from certain parts of the aircraft. And look at this wing, the way it's moving around, flexing. That's really, really good attention to detail. I haven't seen that on many aircraft that we reviewed in the last few weeks, but I've noticed it here. You can see that the aircraft wing was actually moving in the wind. Well, it seemed to me that it was the wind that was moving it. It's a good touch. So the control surfaces work nicely. There you go, you can see the control surfaces. So they're working nicely and nicely animated as well. Fantastic. Okay, so we'll have a look at the interior now. So here we are inside the cockpit, and plenty of functions and buttons which actually simulate. You can see I move my mouse over the controls here, the barometric standard, the decision height reset, the autopilot controls, and the speed selector, and the FMS. Okay, there's one on each side. Nicely 3D models of the throttle and the steering, the yoke. And also, I think if you turn around here, you can actually touch these windows and they open and close. There you go, and that will animate as well. So the windows open and close. And look, you even got the captain's jackets there in the corner. Does this door open? Nope, the door doesn't open. Plenty of overhead switches as well, as you would expect in an aircraft this size and complexity. And again, a lot of these are functional, as you can see. Okay, so let's scroll down a little bit to the other side. Let's have a look from another view. See if there's another view we can look at. Virtual cockpit only. Oops, sorry, I beg your pardon. That's not the one the view I wanted to select. So let's go to the center console. So you have a nice view where you can enter your details into the FMC, which is very, very handy when you don't want to zoom in and with your track IR or with the view buttons. It makes it nice and easy. So you can just have a screen which is easy to read as well. Let's have another look at the view. So right seat. So we're in the right seat now. Again, that's a good view, I think, both if you want to see out the cockpit clearly when you're landing. You've got the option, change view, and let's go to the first observer seat. So here we are on the first observer seat, which gives you a view just behind the pilots, and there you can see how much detail has gone into this. The panels, the switches. They must have taken a hell of a long time to model this aircraft, but it's been reproduced faithfully. And let's see if there's anything else that we can animate here. Yep, that animates that window. So this is cockpit, attention to detail, functional, and looks great. So far so good. Okay, so we're ready to go. We've got the flaps ready. Let's take off. Increase power. Let's keep this huge aircraft on the runway here at Gatwick Airport in the UK, in London. And here we go. Let's have a look around, picking up speed. Looks fantastic inside this cockpit. Very well modelled. The sounds awesome. It feels good as well. I mean, I'm on the rudder pedals, keeping it straight. It's not wandering all over the place, so it's responding to my inputs, which is good. And as you can see, all the functions on the cockpit displays work. So here we go, approaching takeoff speed, and nicely does it. So off we go into the sky. So let's put the gears up. Nice and smooth. In fact, I didn't have much difficulty taking off. It took off nicely. No problems with the aircraft getting up into the sky, despite the fact that it's huge. Didn't have any problems on the runway when I was trying to keep it straight, so that was good. And now we can actually see if we can have a look from the outside and see what it looks like. There it is. Let's get those gears in. I thought I put those gears in, but I obviously didn't. And there they go, you can see them going in. Let's zoom in a bit more. There, look at that. The Queen of the Skies, they call her. And the frame rate wise, 56 frames a second from the external view, and this is P3D version 4, which I may have forgot to mention, but it is. It's also available for FSX, and I'm running on an i7 system with 32 GB RAM and a terabyte SSD drive, and also ordinary terabyte hard drive, and it's coping quite well. The graph, look at the wing flex as well now. You can see the wing flex in. There you go. So put the flaps up. Look at that wing flex. You can see the flaps here as well. They're just being retracted. It's climbing at the moment, and it's coping quite well at actually 65 frames a second. Let's have a look inside and let's see what it's like in the inside view. So we're going to the virtual cockpit. And the frame rate goes to 32, but still acceptable considering that normal film is about 24. Now it's going to 34. The only thing I'm finding here is I'm trying to zoom out. Whoops, I can't zoom out very far on this field of view. So let's see. I'm going to use another view to show you guys. Let's go to the first observer seat. So that's better. So we can have a look around now and lift up the windows. There you go. It's a bit hot in here, so I open that window. Only joking. Right, so yeah, the frame rate now. Let's see. Frame rate in here purported by NVIDIA is 40 frames a second, and this is with all the cockpit showing, so you can see that it's coping quite well. I must say there are the GTX 980 cards in here. There's 2 in SLI mode, so as far as P3D is concerned, it does use SLI. That's what the P3D team told me when I spoke to them. Okay, so now it's time to go to the landing. So we're on approach to London Heathrow Airport with our 747, and we are going to land in a few minutes. We've got our flaps extended, we have our gear down, yes, and here we go. A few minutes from touchdown. I need to straighten up a little bit. Maybe we're a little bit too high. Let's reduce our speed a bit. It's a little bit high. Frame rate's 23 frames a second, 31 now. So it's still maintaining a good performance frame rate with everything on high detail. And as you can see, the textures look good on the external view. So it's not on basic level, it's performing very well. And we are nicely lined up on that runway at Heathrow Airport to land this huge 747 jet, and in a manual way as well. We're not using any auto landing here, we're not using any ILS. We are just doing this, eyeballing it.
1,000.
Now maximum flaps. Wait, I know you're saying that, but I'm not trying to land. I know there's terrain there. Of course it is. You're getting lower. So it's looking good. It's a bit straighter. Can we land it safely on manual landing? Looking good. Let's see if we've got enough runway as well.
30. 10.
Reverse thrust. And a nice landing. Happy with that? Okay, so that looks good. And that is a 747-400 by Ifly. Let's have a look at that replay of the landing. And let's go analysis, instant replay, so we can have a look from the outside and see how we did. So click on views, change view, let's go to outside lock spot and zoom out a little bit. Oops.
200.
So here we are coming into land.
100. 50.
How did we do?
30.
I must admit that terrain warning really distracted me in trying to land this huge thing. So let's touch down. Probably took a little bit longer to touch down than I thought, but here we go. That's nice and smooth. I like that landing. Yes, very good. And it's not easy to land. I had a couple of attempts to land this smoothly, and it's a challenge, I'll put it that way. So the frame rates, like you see, they're 36 frames a second. If you go into the cockpit on landing, let's have a look and see what it looks like from the cockpit. So again, it's going actually down to, if we reverse it back a little bit, so instant replay and go back a little bit to the initial landing, it does seem to actually go down at least, it went down to about 11 frames there, but it went back up to 25, so it's still performing adequately. Let's see as we get closer to Heathrow Airport, you see it dropped to 17, 20, then even 17 again. So it's dropping a little bit, but not that badly, considering Heathrow Airport is quite a large airport. So not bad. And from the internal cockpit, let's see if you can look at the instruments as well when landing. 20 frames, that's not too bad. So let's go outside again. Brilliant. Our rating on this is going to be a very high one. It's going to be a 9 out of 10, and the reason we give 9 out of 10, I mean, the modelling of the aircraft, the exterior model looks good, the textures is good, the attention to detail, the sound, you can hear that the sound sounds very, very authentic, like you would on a real aircraft. The cockpit inside has lots of functionality, a lot of systems are simulated, the FMS is simulated, and all those other features that we mentioned earlier. So a 9 out of 10 I think is a good rating for this. Ifly have done a very, very good job and one of the best 747s out there. If you want to know more, then head over to the Ifly website. It's currently available for FSX and P3D. We're looking at the P3D version, and it's about £49 British pounds, and about, I think it's about $59. I think $59.95. Around that as approximate. So if you are interested in this aircraft, it's not a bad price. It's a good attention to detail. It's a quality aircraft, and thanks for joining us. Don't forget to check out other videos on our channel, and give us a like and subscribe for updates.